I forgot your name for a minute. Um, we are all here to be that difference maker as God has called us to be with our giftings that He has given us from day one.
Yes, and when you are, um, when you have a true mind to spirit connection, right, and you're connecting with the source of all, um,
Yes.
it's a blessing because you then become an example to others, and then they want what you have, and they want your happiness, but you move forward in fulfillment of your goals, which is to help somebody else and to put someone else's needs above your needs. And you don't have to worry because he with the capital H does provide,
He
and
does.
and you educate, right? And so everyone needs to hear the message that they're loved. But in order to know that they're loved, you have to love yourself first. And when you love yourself first, and you realize that you have value and something to share, you then can go out and help others. But you have to love yourself first.
I love that. That is so true. Um, Many therapists, coaches, entrepreneurs out there leave that part out. I'm a mind, body, spirit coach. My belief is we are tripartite, and each one of those three entities make up us, make up the whole. And as we go through life and do rechecks, I'm constantly doing rechecks in my life. Am I living my purpose? Am I living my mind, body, spirit connection to the fullest? And it's all so important. It's so encompassing of what we all do.
Um, have you heard of the litmus test?
No.
So the litmus test is pretty simple. My pastor breaks that out about every 3 years, and basically it's this: is what I'm about to do going to further the kingdom of God, right?
Absolutely.
And if it's not, then maybe you should rethink your priorities and and get organized to furthering the kingdom. And it could be as simple as doing a kind act or a gesture, or being nice to a complete stranger, or it could be creating an additional source of income for someone who needs it. It doesn't really matter. It's he determines what's best, and then you follow the instruction. So the litmus test works um, in the same facet as you treat others as you would want to be treated back yourself.
I love that.
So it comes back to the same thing. You
Mhm.
love because you were loved first. You treat others kind because you want to be treated kind back. And then you put someone else's needs above your own, you'll be more than blessed and with future goodness because you're being unselfish. So, I mean, blessings to you and all the work you do and making difference in people's lives. And I pray that you continue to
Thank
bestow His goodness and your goodness uh, upon those that you touch.
Yeah, thank you. That's very kind. Thank you so much.
All right. Ralph, how about we have you come here and kind of say maybe briefly about who you are and what you do.
Okay. I'm Ralph Downer, with Downer Sales. It's not so much about what I do for myself at this point. I'm doing as much as I can to help others increase the growth of their businesses, working with nonprofits and other business owners that are either just starting out or struggling to with the way the economy is. We've turned into a world where what's in it for me, instead of how can I help somebody else. So I appreciate both of you, what you're doing. in line with you 100%. I believe we really have to lift other people up. It's not about giving somebody something that's gonna just help them for today, but being able to teach them how they can do it for themselves and how they can pass that along to other people that need that hand up.
I love that, Ralph. No truer words were ever spoken. You are so right on. And, you know, it's not about us. It's about those we serve. And so many times people just need that voice. They just need that voice of encouragement with what you're doing. I'm thinking in my mind, I think I've got a couple referrals for you that are wanting to start nonprofits. So if you don't mind, I would love to connect with you later and get those to you.
Okay.
We live in a world that the world is trying to make it so complicated. It's not. It's not. As long as we stay centered in who we are, whatever that means, all of us have gifts. And if we just stay centered and give out what we've been given, you know, God gave me a miracle, and I love to share that miracle with others. And what you said is so wise. And I truly appreciate the wisdom coming from you. So keep going, tell me more.
I started when I was 15. I was a volunteer with in the town I grew up in. The only people that aren't volunteers are the police department. So we had volunteer fire department, volunteer ambulance, and volunteer rescue. And the rescue squad started at 15. So I started at 15 volunteering. And that's when I learned how great it was to do things for other people, and how good it made you feel inside to know that you did something that they couldn't do for themselves at this point in time. At that time, we were dealing with a lot of senior citizens that were living on a riverbank. And when their houses flood, we waited for the river to recede, and then we went and we got all the water out of their home for them. No charge. It was really a great community to grow up in. Because even the grown up, everybody was always out to help their neighbor, and I know it's changed along with everything else that has changed in time today, but it was a great time to grow up, and a great place to learn to give back. It's not all about you. One thing my father used to tell me when I was a little boy, he says, "There's nobody better than you, but you're no better than anybody else either."
That's beautiful.
So I have a question for you. Can you explain exactly how you help people?
Yes. With some of the business owners I'm working with, I have a pretty good network following, so I promote their stuff on the different networks, with it going back to their pages so that people can actually connect with them rather than connect with me and say, how do I get hold of whoever it is? If they're interested in whatever their services or products are, they can go directly there. They don't have to come back to me. With the nonprofits, I help them through my company. They can either come on board and they don't have to do everything that we do as business owners, but they can share our products and get the retail value out of those products. The other thing I do for the ones that don't even want to do that is I have an affiliate page that they click on. They just share my thing, and it goes whatever customers go from their site to my site. They get 55% of the retail profit from any of the products that their followers buy.
So that makes sense. I mean, it's almost like it's a benefit to pay attention to what products are offered so that they can get a real huge discount. I don't want to use the 4-letter word sale, but essentially that's what it is, because you're promoting something that they can't get at that price, and it's going ultimately for a good cause. And so you're making a difference by putting things out into the marketplace that these people normally would not have the capabilities of doing. Is that correct?
Yes. Right now, I'm trying to work with a church in West Africa. They're looking to build. So what I did is I offered them, instead of the 55%, there's not a way I can do it on with them linking it to back and forth. So I gave them a code to put in, so whenever they buy it, I know it was bought through them, and I'll give them 100% of the retail profit.
Wow.
And so
That is-
are those products handmade?
No, we're a multi-billion-dollar company. We're in every multi-billion-dollar industry, from skincare to makeup, vitamins, supplements, household
Awesome.
products, coffees, teas, jewelry, makeup. So we're there, and anytime something new is coming up, our research team researches it and gets products ready to bring into the marketplace.
That's awesome.
We don't manufacture anything. We have it manufactured for us with our ingredients and our whatever our scientists and doctors came up with. And it has to meet those specifications before it'll go on the market.
Wow. Very thorough. Very thorough. I'm impressed. There's so much more to you than meets the eye.
Like I say, I've been blessed in what I'm doing, and even our company motto is, a lot of people say, well, you're one of those things. We don't make money unless our team is making money. So we make sure that anybody below us is making money. Because our cash flow goes from the bottom up. It doesn't go from the top down.
That's awesome.
And so we're always working together, making sure other people succeed. Even my team, I have people that aren't financially connected to me, but if I need them to do something for me, they're right there to do it. Because we're in so many different industries, I don't specialize in everything. So if I need somebody to talk about makeup, I can get a makeup artist to come talk to my potential clients or my potential partners and teach them about those products.
Yeah.
Awesome. And I do the same for them with what I do.
Beautiful.
All right, everybody. Now we're going to turn this up and we're going to make it real interesting, real fast. Jacqueline, I want you to come in here, and we're going to do a little exercise. So again, this is our, Valentine's holiday celebration here. Basically on Valentine's Day, we're going to be doing the World of Women show with Zita from Zita's Healthy Beginnings. So that's really our show business on the days. So, but for World of Ability, this is it, folks. So we're going to dive in. We're going to make it juicy. We're going to make it about love and romance and, kind of overcoming financial stresses and, things that really, are the crux of how partners separate, and they thought they had a life together forever, and then all of a sudden it goes awry, and start to realize that when the rubber meets the road and you start to really deal with issues and challenges, and you learn about how you do it differently, and then all of a sudden it's like this ain't gonna work, because it's more frustrating and it becomes toxic and all this stuff. So So Jacqueline, we're going to set you up with some good stuff, and I'm going to start. We're going to throw Jonathan De La Rosa in the hot seat. He just came in here, and
I can't wait.
yeah. So Jonathan, before we introduce you, basically we're throwing you to the fire, putting your feet to the fire, and because basically, folks, Jonathan has a great show. Your big win, and so he knows how to really find the upside of everything. But Jonathan, share with us. We're going to dive in and get real personal, like right from the first second, Jonathan. What is your life journey in terms of relationships and love, and trying to work on the future of partnership and all this kind of stuff? Because we're leading up to Valentine's Day, Jonathan. So tell us a little bit more about your life. What's going on, Jonathan? How is love treating you or mistreating you? Which side of it are you on?
Yeah, let's see. So as far as for when it comes to Valentine, it's almost Valentine's Day, so I'm really excited about that. To answer that question, it's been, I've been married now for 10 years. So I ended up it's been a really interesting 10 years. So I'm really excited. I'm really definitely grown a lot in the last 10 years, right? So it's something that I'm very, very blessed with for sure. So I'm very blessed and very blessed to have been able to go through everything that I've been through, to be able to grow as much as I've grown as a man, right? As a man, as a husband, as a son, right? As a brother, and I'm very honored about that, right? So it's been a lot of fun. I don't know if that answers your question. I know I'm being a little bit vague, but if you want to follow up with any other questions, please ask away.
Oh yeah, Jonathan, we've got the
This is the
stuff.
hot seat.
But we're gonna make the round robin first. I'm just letting Jacqueline, take her notes, and when she comes in here, we're gonna put her to work, and we're gonna see how she works, how she does it. So Ralph, you're a grandfather, correct?
Yes.
All right. So Ralph, this is an intergenerational aspect. So now you are a person, a paternal partner in your children and grandchildren's, life journey of love. And, so give us a little bit more insight. How does Grandpa share with the younger generations what love is all about? What you got, Ralph? How does that work? And anything about Valentine's Day? It's coming up. It's right around the corner.
I mean, I end every conversation with my my kids, my wife, and my grandchildren with "I love you," because we don't know
No,
when the last time I'll be.
you're right. That is so wise.
Yes, indeed.
So wise.
Just 2 years ago, I had 3 brothers, and they're all gone.
I'm
Yep.
so sorry.
Yep. So that's where we're at, folks. Here at the World of Ability family, we go through, all things in life. And so, yeah, we also have to think of, afterlife and so forth. And so, Bill, I'm going to look at you, and I look at you as somebody who is like a fellow evangelist. You're like a disciple in my life, and you go out there in kingdom work, and you joined our corporate prayer session that we do on Fridays, organized by our friends in Colorado Springs, Colorado, 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern. We hop in there right after our Helpopedia session, or at least the main part of the meeting. But Bill, in terms of, talking about all that, we can talk about agape love and, the example of how our Savior, our Messiah lived, life on earth, and everything we read about in sacred scripture. Put a little faith spin on how you put your faith into the love that you give your wife and other people in your life. How does that work out?
Sure, love to share. When it comes to faith, even though you're taught in marriage to love your wife first, you have to put Jesus at the center and the forefront. But I use the word Yahshua or Yahweh.
Yeah. Mm.
And because if you go into heaven and you want to speak to him, he didn't say his name was Jesus. So um, so you have to develop a father relationship and put him at the center. And so in marriage, when you're equally yoked, meaning that you have the same belief systems and you're operating as a unit together,
Yes.
then the ox, as in the field, will plow straight ahead and it will produce fruit, and there will be a lot of fruit. When you're not both operating on the same page, both in faith as well as in life, and you're not communicating, then it puts strife and stress and speed bumps in the highway of life. So you need to have moments to escape, to pray for wisdom and discernment, and you also need to pray together as a couple for wisdom and discernment. And sometimes when one partner strays, and I mean from straying meaning from praying, not stray in the common sense, um, that's where the dissension in the ranks occurs. And because a family that prays together stays together. So
Yeah.
it's in my viewpoint that you stay focused on God, and then you use His guidance through reading and through prayer and in silence, because in silence the answer comes, and you want to lean in and hear it, and it takes practice and discipline. So that's the answer I think you were asking me to give. Do you want me to expand more, or is that sufficient?
Oh, that we'll pick up on that again, Bill. That was a great way to, respond to what I set up for you. But now we're going to take a commercial break, folks. This is a message sponsored by the Shakedown that we do from here out of Madison, Wisconsin. The 12 o'clock Shakedown, referring to Central Time, so 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern every day. We do the 12 o'clock Shakedown. Emily's on there on our page, giving her example of how to do 15 minutes of music and motion. And we have our feature Shackalite, Mark, here. And Mark is with us every day, giving us reasons to celebrate with what to do and eat, and, just really helping us do that carpe diem, seize the day. So, Mark, would you be willing to echo what you provided for us earlier today on the Shakedown? Can you do the run through of what are we all celebrating today?
Well, as I said at the Shakedown, there was a long list of things. I just picked a few out, but it is Shut-in Visitation Day. If you know of someone in a nursing home or at their own home who isn't able to get out and you've been meaning to pay them a visit, today is the day. It is also National Make a Friend Day, which is always a good idea. And if you're looking for a little snack, it is Peppermint Patty Day. Have a taste for mint. And we're also celebrating women and girls in science today, and the contributions that they make. It is National White T-Shirt Day. Kurt, he is donning his white T-shirt now. Well, so is Jonathan. And finally, it is Don't Cry Over Spilled Milk Day.
All right. Thank you, Mark. So if you like what Mark just did, you can go to 12 o'clock Shakedown on Facebook, facebook.com/12 o'clock Shakedown. All the words spelled out with just all the letters there, or go on to facebook.com and do a search for the words 12 o'clock Shakedown. Again, Emily's on there. We have a photo album within the page that has many of the capturings of Mark's background that he provides to the world every day. So thanks again, Mark, for making your mark as our mark. All right, here we go. Emily, now this is an opportunity that the World of Ability podcast show has never had before. Leading up to Valentine's Day, we didn't do this last year. We probably should have, but we're going to do it right here, right now. Inspired by Jacqueline, let's take a look at the love life of Emily. Emily, come on in here. What is dating life? You know, I know you kind of get in these social circles. You have a game night, and you do what you do as you know, as the woman you are, as the lady you are. And so when we're coming up on Valentine's Day and building a life of love, what does it look like for you, Emily?
If you don't know or haven't guessed yet, I have never had a boyfriend.
That's hard to believe.
I totally surprised Jonathan there.
It's like you just dropped the bomb. It's like mic drop.
How is that possible?
I do not know. Explain that one to me, Jonathan.
I wish I could.
All right, so does that mean you're available, Emily? Is this kind of like a World of Ability shout out that, you know, any eligible bachelors out there, you know, Emily can be contacted right here at the World of Ability podcast. We're doing matchmaking right here for our podcast engineer co-host, Emily Gulmer. It's a little segment we call OMG EMG. Her middle initial is M. All right, anything else, Emily, you want to add?
Not at the well, I follow lots I probably could say, but I think we could go back to anything else.
All right, so Jacqueline, so now you have it here. We got a little survey going. We got right into your wheelhouse. You know, I think we gave you so much material. We probably would have to do an encore extra half hour to go through it all, but where do you want to start, Jacqueline?
Wow, I think I want to pick on Mark. I'm sorry. I think I want to address Mark. Mark, you have made my day by giving all this fodder to me of the National What It Is Day, because what I'm going to do when I'm done with this, Mark, and I will give you credit, I want to share this with my entire group on Facebook. I'm sure they'll get a kick out of it. And also, Mark, it's Make a Friend Day.
Mhm.
Are you married?
No,
Do you want to be? Oh, okay. Okay. So what is the love in your life? It doesn't have to be a person.
yeah, that's, I guess, mostly family. My siblings, my mother is still living.
Awesome. You know, that's
Yeah, as far as dating, since I got injured for 14 years ago,
I'm sorry.
yeah, my dating life has pretty much been in the tank. But, you know, it is what it is.
You know, I'm sorry to hear that, but there's much more to life than dating. And that having a spouse or a significant other or a partner, whatever they want to call it nowadays. You know what? I love nothing more than to focus on my family and on how much I love them. And Mark, I think you missed my part where I shared, if it concerns you, it concerns me. There's no greater love than to show that someone in your life, that you see them that you hear them and that they matter to you. And to have your mother still with you, that is incredible. I'm very delighted to hear that. And other family members. You know, this relationship deal is a good thing. And what's awesome, it includes everyone. Everyone. So I hope you don't feel picked on. But I appreciate your wisdom in putting your family, your mother, your siblings first. That is very, very rewarding. And now to pick on everybody else. My mantra is, if it concerns you, it concerns me. And that's from my heart, really and truly. I would like to invite you all this day, this moment, to kind of ask yourself, what are the ones you love, the ones closest to you, your family, whoever? What do they need from you? What is it they would benefit most by you giving? And it's always recognition, always gratitude for them and the blessing they are. But Ralph, I want to pick on you. Who is in your life that you really, I saw someone clap. Who is in your life that you would like to know you love, you care about what they care about?
There's quite a few, and I think they actually know it. You know, like I said, I lost my three brothers, their kids, constantly talking to them. I let them know I'm there. And of course, my own kids and my own grandchildren. And especially my wife, who's been by my side for 20 plus years now. So.
That's incredible. And that's beautiful. You know what I'm getting from everyone on this line is what's most important to them are the relationships closest to them. Do you know how many people in the world do not have that ability? Whether it's from angry words or whatever, they don't all have that ability. But you all with me here today does. And Jonathan, I'm going to pick on you now. Jonathan, tell me, what is most important in your life?
Of course, you know, it's everybody that's in my life. You know, my whole family. You know, everybody in my family. So they're all very important to me. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. And what is it do you think they need from you to know that? We know it in our head. Valentine's Day is about our heart connections. So what is it about your family that you would like to let them know your heart connection towards them?
I got to tell you, that's a very deep question. I mean, it's funny, like, without going into too much detail right now, it's something I'm still working on to this very day. Like, I'm definitely far from perfect on, like, when it comes to that. But it's definitely communication. Communication is definitely my biggest flaw. When it comes to,
I happen to be
family.
the communication expert. You have found your queen.
That's really it. That's the biggest thing, you know. But you know, if I really want to be honest with myself, yeah, like that's definitely my biggest drawback, you know, as a person.
Well, I'll just say this. If you want to connect with me afterwards, and this is just to brainstorm, not to put you on the spot, not to make you a client. It's just to brainstorm what that might look like for you. I'm happy to do that with any one of you because it's my heartthrob. It's my heartthrob to be connected with others. Oh, and Bill, I'm not leaving you out either. You may be kicked back and relaxing. However, I love the fact that you talk about your love for God. Without God, none of us would be here. You know, what is it that I know God's a powerful part, but what is it that you want your wife, those closest to you, to know of your heartfelt feelings?
So I would probably go to my daughter first, on the love side, because she has a learning disability, and sometimes what I say doesn't register with her as to what she hears or what she interprets. So it's a constant struggle, because of some of her physical limitations and her hearing limitations to communicate to her what is really important. Now, we do say I love you to each other, but she's at the difficult age of 22 where she is focused on friends over family right now. And so we don't really hang out as much as I would like to hang out. It's usually a dinner or two a week, and the rest of the time she's hanging out with her friends. So I think the key point is that I support her in her endeavors, but sometimes I have to sift through the minutia of life to let her know. Our true bonding in love comes from attending Christian music concerts, and that's
Oh,
how we
wow.
connect. And we've probably seen upwards of 30 concerts together.
Oh my gosh.
She got saved at a concert, and it was a Chris Tomlin concert. Her favorite artist is Carrie Job. She's been to see David Crowder, and we've seen Elevation Worship. So we've seen every act. We've traveled to Seattle, to Georgia, to North Carolina, South Carolina, Pittsburgh,
Beautiful.
local stuff, and that's our bonding time, where we escape from reality, hands raised in praise, and that's the focus. And when she realizes that she has to refocus and recenter, that's when we reconnect, and then I'm always there for her, sort of like the stable leg of a compass, just like Jesus, Yahweh, Yahshua, the source of all good, the protector, the creator of all. He's at the center of our compass, and we guide our life around him. It's the same way I'm following weekly and pale in comparison and humbly in comparison. I try to set that same example for her.
That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Emily. Emily, let me ask you a question. And this is not putting you on the spot. Pretend like it's just you and I talking, okay? Girl talk. How do you know someone has connected with you? And I'm not talking man, I'm talking family, anyone. How can they best connect with you to where you know you're cherished and cared for?
Oh, we're all about the deep questions today, aren't we? That's a question I have to think about.
Well, okay, listen, I'm going to let you off the hook for a minute because there's someone I haven't tagged into this conversation. I want you to think about that. It may be they look you in the eyes, they smile. It can be any of those. Kurt, don't even think you're getting away with anything. Kurt, talk to me about you. Where did you go? Okay. Talk to me, friend, about you. Where is the love in your life? And how are you connecting this Valentine's Day with people you love?
Well, my Valentine's Day starts with what my wife Sue and Emily and I and others do that we learned about through the Happy Neighborhood Project.
Awesome.
The wife of Edwin Edberry, Helen Kioma, she does weekdays at 6:15 Pacific, 9:15 Eastern
Awesome.
is daily power of recitations.
Wow.
And then a daily devotion we have is through liveradio.love. It's it's a friend and business colleague and a minister and so forth that does Love Inc., Love Live, and so liveradio.love is a 24/7 resource for conversations where if you
Awesome.
listen enough, you can hear me and you can learn more about the dark places and stuff about me and my soul and stuff like that. But and then we're with VetNet, so the love for our veterans. But we do VetNet every day. Or, I'm sorry, not every day, every week. Every week is VetNet on Tuesdays every week, and then Happy Neighborhood Project with travel lovers, H&P travel lovers. And then we do our shakedown event. And then we're going to be having a Valentine's Day experience with H&P Wisconsin, Minnesota with our captains, Ian Kingwell and Nick Davis, and our co-hosting team, which includes Emily, my wife, Sue, and, Carol and Charlie and such like that. And then, the finish, we keep going with Happy Neighborhood Project. And then, like I said, we have World of Women podcast. And then, so we were going to be getting with our ski team, but I think our show directors actually missed that or didn't realize the effect that Valentine's Day might have on showing from our ski team members. So they postponed our first night of indoor practice to the 21st. And so forth. But otherwise, for the Roscoff family, between my wife Sue and my daughter Alana and I, it's as far as I know, unless there's something in the works that I'm not aware of, we're going to have a pretty typical, Tuesday evening. Just getting our meal in before I gotta head on the broadcast there, and stuff like that. So that's kind of what a Tuesday looks like, and then we'll carry that Valentine's Day theme the best we can as we go through it all.
That's awesome. I love it. I love it. Emily, I'm swinging back to you. Have you had a moment to think about it? Oh, Emily, you're on mute.
Oh boy. Just looking in just the whole thing about the connection and just listening, not always giving advice, unless somebody said something or getting mad about whatever. So yeah, I think that's the biggest thing.
Awesome. Yeah. Connections are not for the faint of heart. They really aren't. And as each of you have participated with me today, I would like to thank you very much for allowing me to pick on you. And I guess I can kind of just close my part by asking, does anyone have any questions for me?
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, Jacqueline, I'm curious. You said you're a communications expert, right? So what got you
I should be after 43 years, yes.
What got you into that? Like what inspired you to be into this?
My own pain. My own pain.
Your own pain.
And my own pain at not having a childhood anyone would choose about. And when I was 17, I ran away. And I decided first I tried to end my life, and then God began to show me a different way.
Amen.
And the best communication advice I can give anyone, if it concerns you, it concerns me. That's what everybody wants to know. Do you see them? Do you hear them?
The reason I ask is because I can hear the passion in your voice when you ask questions. I can hear it. It's very evident.
Well, thank you. That's
I'm
very
sure I'm not the first person. I'm definitely not the last.
Thank you.
Jacqueline, I have to ask, and I'm sure other people could I could ask the same questions to other people, pretty much everybody really here. My I do a podcast on big wins, and your type of story, it's exactly the kind of story I want to share. So if you want to be part of that, we can talk. We'll do our talk first, and then.
Yeah, I put my email in the address. I mean, in the chat, and you can get a hold of me there. I would be honored in any way to serve you.
Likewise.
Jacqueline, what advice would you give to somebody that's depressed over this time of year when they don't have a significant other?
Very good question, by the way.
The best advice I can give them, because the heart wants what the heart wants, is that really and truly the most important relationship you can have with anyone is yourself. And I would suggest give yourself self-love. Buy chocolates. Buy flowers. Treat yourself. And listen to yourself. What is it you want? Because listen, the sky's the limit. And I know, because I came from nothing. I came from nothing. And if God can do it for me, he can do it for you. Whatever you do in life, I would take God beside you and with you. And if there's anything I could do for any particular people that may be listening to this, email me. Let's have a chat.
Well, I think that's good advice. I guess the way I always approach it, if I was going to be alone on a holiday or say Valentine's Day coming up, I just keep in mind it's just one day and it's over with just like that.
Yeah. But let me ask you something, Mark. Since you opened your mouth, let me pick on you again. And that is there anything you would like that you yourself could give you for Valentine's Day?
Well,
because you're right, it's just a day, but in the whole mix of things, it's the day of love. It's the day of connection. So I'm just curious, Mark, what is it you've been looking for or waiting for, or how can you bless yourself this day? And I do appreciate you coming up and sharing that because you would be the one with all the answers.
Oh, well, I don't know. I'm actually pretty content now, but my mother calls quite often.
Awesome.
She's 86. And she's in pretty good shape, except that she has macular degeneration.
Oh,
and
yeah, that's difficult.
Her eyesight has gotten really bad. So, I mean, she can't drive or she doesn't get out as much. So she gets
Probably a good thing.
Yeah, it is. Well, she voluntarily gave her license up.
That's beautiful.
I just can't see good enough, and it's not safe for me to drive. So
Very
but,
brilliant woman.
yeah, well, she gets kind of bored, some days, but she calls, every other day, and we chat. So I talk to her. I'll talk to her tomorrow.
Awesome.
So, Mark,
Awesome.
can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So, is there any simple pleasures in life that you really get enjoyment out of? Is it coffee, or is it reading a book, or watching a TV show, or is there something that's simple?
Well, yeah, I like reading. I do read books. I guess after I was hurt, for some strange reason, I put on my bucket list to read, a lot of the classic novels, the books you were supposed to read in high school but didn't. And yeah, I kind of enjoyed, just the culture of it.
Yeah.
And well, I spend a lot more time on a laptop now than I used to, but I do find things, to keep busy.
Awesome.
So, so reading is a passion. But how about food wise? Do you have a favorite food, or do you have a favorite drink that you enjoy?
Well, yeah, but I'm not supposed to have them anymore.
Oh
So
dear.
I always loved pizza. I always thought that was the best food, but it's very high in sodium and fat. And
It is.
yeah, I have congenital heart disease, so that's kind of off the table. As far as TV, I try not to watch too much TV. I find that that can be a depressor,
Yeah.
just sitting there watching a lot of TV. It's more of a depressor than I watch a little bit. I like documentaries, but
Okay. So, what I'm trying to get at, but it's sort of, I'm going in circles here, is, well, I'll give you a possible solution for pizza, which is you can get pizza made now on cauliflower crust, okay, which is not the same, but beggars can't be choosy, right? So, and you might want to try this thing called egg pini, which is egg whites, and it's in the grocery store. And if you put 5 or 6 of them together, it gives you the false impression of pizza dough. And then you can then add your red sauce and the cheese of like. But my suggestion on Valentine's Day would be to treat yourself to even a slice of pizza, regular or homemade, and the book, and take time for yourself. And that's where I was headed with this, is that, and just contemplate the goodness of that moment. Okay.
Mhm.
So
I love that.
yep. So, I just wanted to share that with you. That's why I jumped in, even though it's not my field of expertise, because it's important to know that you're loved and people appreciate you, but you also need to know that when you help yourself enjoy the simple pleasures, it makes the rest of the time easier. Okay. And so,
Yeah.
just my 2 cents.
Well, I do have 2 different groups that I play cards with also. So that's nice social event. We play most often at my place because being in a power wheelchair, it's difficult for me to get in some of their houses.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always enjoy that for a couple, 3 hours. And, you know, a little bull session along the way too.
All right, so that fits right into culminating our conversation. It was not a bull session. So, but in any case, I'm going to leave you all with a message. It's a story I've told a couple times already on the World of Ability podcast show, but I'm going to send you off with a little message that I think fits in to the conversation and some of the, takeaway that I got from Jacqueline. But here it goes. Again, I'm a water skier. I was out on a Tuesday night on Pewaukee Lake, Wisconsin, doing my thing out on the water on a practice night for what we do for our shows, and skied up to the stage and grabbed my skis. And I looked over my right shoulder and I saw a gentleman over by one of the trees there on the site at Pewaukee Lakefront Park. And I looked over there in ski show performer fashion, looked at him and was like, well, what do you think? Did I do anything right? Anything you like there? Tried to get that conversation started going, and he responded. He shared how he does enjoy, coming out there. And I never seen him before, so he admitted that he hasn't seen us too much at all before. And I asked him what he normally does out on the lake, and he shared. So with this sharing session and with how he shared his enjoyment to be on the lake, I asked him, well, what about joining our club? And he paused, and we had one of those, what I call in public speaking, the pregnant pause. And I purposefully waited for his response. I wanted it to be an authentic reaction to my invitation to join the club. And folks, you know what he told me? He said, I thought you had to be somebody. Now that really, you want to talk about my decades of show skiing and getting an awakening and really understanding the inconsequential effect, or I guess great consequence, to the effect that we have, but you just wouldn't think of it, that you really send the message that, what I'm doing, that this gentleman felt he couldn't do it because he wasn't enough to say, I want to join that club. And we never saw him again or whatever, but that really spoke to me in terms of what can happen in life. So if I may send you out there with a Valentine's Day challenge, see who you can find out there that might have that same feeling about that they would actually say, I think I had to be somebody. And let's help people know that they are somebody, and there's somebody we are depending on. This world for sure needs everybody. So the next person we're going to go to that we need is Emily. Emily, let's package this up. Let's wrap it up and let's put a bow on it. What do you got, Emily? Let's do your takeaway. Send us out the outro.
Well, I wanted to thank Ralph, Jacqueline, Bill, Jonathan, Mark for coming on today. It's an awesome conversation. And also would like to give, again, special thanks and recognition to Marcus Hart of Transforming Media, Jay Stoyan of the Disability Channel, and Zach Clayton of the PAC Channel for letting us have this on their platform. But also encourage everybody to check out all of our social media pages, LinkedIn, Facebook, a YouTube channel, and subscribe, like, share, comment, that kind of thing. Just a reminder to everybody about the International Day of Happiness coming up next month. as well. And if anyone has any questions, comments, and so on, they can get a hold of me at podcastengineer54@gmail.com, or Kurt at 262-372-1754, or abilitymke@gmail.com. I guess on behalf of me, Kurt, Sue, and the rest of the World of Ability Podcast Network, I wish you a safe and productive week and to stay happy.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much
you,
for
everyone.
having.
Thank you.
Yep, you bet. If anybody
Recording
has
stopped.
more time, you're welcome to stay. Otherwise, thank you for your time and the encore. We did do that encore extra time. I appreciate it.
Jonathan,
I'm going to stick around for a few.
Jonathan, you're very festive. Where'd he go? Okay, so he just totally left on me.